Hey guys, what's going on? This is Darrell Addison at torpedopot.com. Darrell Addison, torpedopot.com, and we make self-growing planters that grows your food with no human intervention. Already we've harvested, I would say, about 97 eggplants. We have about 50 more to go. This probably yield us about 150 eggplants in, I don't know, 20 feet. Nobody does that, right? And we don't do any work. It grows all by itself with no human intervention. But that's not what I'm here to show you today. Even though Torpedo Pot grows your food and grows it in such abundance, I'm here today to show you how to garden. I know a lot of you are saying, I know how to garden, Darrell. I know what I'm doing. But I just grew over 100 eggplants in a small space like this without having to do anything. Then I think we need to have a discussion on what gardening really is. Okay. With that being said, I'm about to start my next harvest. I've got 150 possibly eggplants inside of this planter. I've got to plant a new winter harvest, and I'm going to go into the winter time now. So what I did is that in one planter we grew 42 cucumbers. It was more than that. It was about a total of 52 cucumbers, but we didn't harvest the rest. It was just so much of it coming out of one planter. At one planter, we have tomato vines from cherry tomatoes that are going out about 20 feet. We had to wrap them all up in a corner and throw them back there so you can't see them. I don't want to kill it. I want it to live, but I've got to put in a new crop. This is Darrell Addison at torpedopot.com, where we grow and make self-growing planters that grow your food for you. This is my cilantro. A lot of you don't know this, and I'm hoping that you get a chance to experience it. But cilantro is really a beautiful plant. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you know what? The seeds are amazing. When you put these flowers or in a dish, first of all, the whole plant is edible. The flowers are edible, the seeds are edible, the stems are edible. And they crush these things up and put them in a little bottle, and they call it cilantro, and you spray it on your food and leaves or whatever it is they provide you with. Now that little bottle that you get from the store costs about, what, $5 now, something, getting across seeds. You're probably not going to get it anymore. I've got about, I don't know, 8-9 pounds as opposed to a little 5-6 ounce bottle. Wow, I think that you can do pretty well with Torpedo Pot. Torpedo Pot grows your food so that you can grow food and sell the seeds. You can sell the parts. Whatever you choose to do, you can grind them down for yourself, use it in a puree. Whatever you choose to do, you have it right here at your doorstep. So this is what's going to happen. So I got this beautiful cilantro. So I had it in my food yesterday night, and I started crunching on it. And at that moment, it's when I really started to appreciate what I had. I had cilantro. It's delicious. And you got to try it in your meals. When you eat it naturally, organically, growing in a torpedo pot with no human intervention, well, the colors and the flavors and the textures come out, and it gives you an experience that you've never had before. We don't have to go from can and then to prepare it up to make it taste good, but it's still not as nutritionally dense as the food that we've had in the past. Try Torpedo Pot. Let it grow your food for you. So anyhow, I came back and now I'm going to put some soil on top of these rings here just to make sure I'm just above the rings to let you see what I do. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why do you have such a little bit of soil to fill these planters up? Well, the reason why is because the soil that was in there that was growing the tomatoes and growing the cucumbers, that soil, majority of that soil is still there. The nutrients that are broken down are still there, available for the next crop that I'm going to put in. Most of a plant's mass comes from the carbon in the air. It's the carbon in the air that drives the mass of the plant that causes it to grow. So with Torpedo Pot, you can use your soil indefinitely. I know. With torpedo pot, you use your soil for as long as you want, indefinitely. You don't have to get rid of your soil. You leave it in the pot. I'm coming back, I'm adding more soil to it. I'm gonna drop my seeds on, I'm adding a little bit more soil on top of that, okay? Make sure that feeding stick is buried. Make sure it's buried, okay? But going into this wintertime, I'm about to put my seeds in. What I want to do is I want to put in some provider beans. All right. I looked up, and I'm encouraging you to take the steps that I took. I'm going to put provider bean in here and have the torpedo pot grow me some beans. I love beans. And I'm hoping this is early enough that I can get it before the wintertime comes and takes everything away. So let's do that. Let's fill this thing up. See what we can do together here. Okay, that's done. I'm done. I call it my 5-minute garden. And really just 1 minute of it, didn't have to fill it back up. But remember, I gotta put dirt on top of the seeds also, so I don't want to speak too fast. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to put my beans in. Now, I'm not gonna put beans in all of these, okay? Because I got some collards, some kale. I ran out of seeds from my carrots, and I'm so upset. I've got beets that are growing already. So I'm thinking, what can I do that would be a green leafy thing that would carry me into the wintertime? And so I'm thinking more my spinach, my collards, my kales, cabbage. I'm thinking along those lines, you know? And so let's do it. Let's put in some beans in this first planter here just to get it tested. I don't know if I want beans in the second or third one, but let's take a look at this. So I'm simply gonna grab a handful of beans. Well, I thought it had some pea, but I don't. I'm simply going to take the beans, put it in my hand. As you can see here, beautiful, beautiful beans. And now we're going to put it in the torpedo pot. You know what? Let's do 2 torpedo pots. I know you guys like torpedo pots. Let's do 2 of them. Let's do 2. Now, I love beans, but the only thing about it is that beans will not go into the wintertime. So what I normally do is that I know this crop should produce, I forgot what the germination rate is. Let's take a look at that. That's what we're looking at. And I really put a lot of beans inside of there because when you're growing as a gardener, I want you to remember these things. It's very important that you focus on the plant and understand what the plant wants. You have to really have an eye for it. So when you look outside and you see your food growing, you know any deficiencies and what's going on with your plants and stuff like that. So with the beans and the plants that we do, it gives you a better feel. Once that plant starts to grow, it gives you a better feel for its environment. What you can do with that plant, what you cannot do with the plant, how you should water, how you should feed the plants to take care of it. But more importantly, how you should supplement that environment. Remember now, you want to use as much natural capabilities within that environment before you start to impose and inject some things onto it. Because it's the environment that's really growing your food, right? For some of you, you think that water grows food. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but water does not grow food. What water grows that makes food to take off is that water creates an environment. So many things are growing at the same time. That water is the catalyst for so many activities to take off before your food is created. So it's not the water that we're trying to build in a torpedo pot, it's the environment. We're controlling the environment. We're controlling the plant's environment. That's what we're doing. Torpedo pot grows your food at such an alarming rate is because it's controlling your plant's environment. Gives you an opportunity to control your plant's environment. And that's why we can grow close to 158 plants at 20 feet. We can grow provider beans, where we'll have beans stored up and eat anytime we wanted to. Let's check the germination rate. Look right here. And it says germination rate is 90% for the provider bean. And so it's supposed to be pretty good. I'm just hoping I'm planting in the right time. I planted last year and it did extremely well. I think we got, not from these, but from my taller torpedo pots, I think we got like 4 pounds of beans from one torpedo pot. 4 pounds of beans, 3 to 4 pounds from one torpedo pot. And I think that was exceptional. That to me was exceptional. So, all right, so I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna cover them up now. And I don't wanna cut the garden series off, but I really want to focus now on getting those other 2 pots. So let's find out what we want to put in there. So bear with me, I'm going to start moving this around. Now, this is great because when you start grinding this down, the parsley, you get an opportunity to use all the parts. Everything of that plant is edible. Torpedo pot grows the environment that causes your plants to take off. This comes back every year on its own. We do absolutely nothing. The seeds just fall all over the place. And because torpedo pot kicked it off, we have now enough parsley, cilantro, that we can share with the rest of the world. We can fill little bottles and share it with the rest of the world. We have that ability. Torpedo pot will do it for you. So let's move this to the side right now. And I'm gonna open up my little handy dandy bucket. I keep a bucket of my seeds all in one place. Now you shouldn't necessarily do that all the time, but you want to keep them in a dry place where that does not changes and where the changes in humidity won't affect that package an awful lot. So bottles, jars, any container, or any environment that doesn't allow you to have a buildup of moisture. So what we do is that we create this container here where we put all of our seeds in. And kohlrabi, that sounds great, doesn't it? I've never started kohlrabi from seed before. I wonder what that looks like. Now, give you a hint. This is the strategy that I'm using for growing this winter. When I grow in the wintertime, I don't grow for delicacy. Remember now, at this point in your growing, you've already, growing year, you've already completed your tomatoes. With one torpedo pot, this right here could generate 1,000 tomatoes. So a torpedo pot can grow over 1,000 tomatoes. Like you see here, 158 plants. Like you see here, 2,000 peppers. And so we've already proven that we can grow anything. We can grow anything that you can imagine. So the question going into my winter gardening is that what strategy should I use? Well, growing in my torpedo pot, what I would do is this. If I've already grown my tomatoes, I've already grown my hot peppers, and I know that I have them to last me through the year, getting at least some form of nutrition, and I love those hot peppers, because I've grown those things, I don't have to worry about trying to grow those delicacies anymore. Those fruiting bodies, I don't need those anymore. What I'm focusing on my wintertime is my leaves. The leaves. You want as many leaves as possible to supplement your diet. Collard greens, kale, kohlrabi, anything that has green leafy spinach, like I say collards, yeah, anything that has green leafy ability to it, that's what you want. They can go through the wintertime. It's more likely you're not going to get fruit during the wintertime unless you have it in the greenhouse and it's enclosed. But this will allow you to have your green leafy vegetables outside in some of the extreme conditions, because now you have plants that can exist in those extreme conditions. So Obviously, you're not going to take something from a tropical area and put it in, Alaska and expect it to take off. You know what I mean? So you want to find the plants that are indigenous to that particular area. Use those plants to grow your food. All right, so I want to change this into a 5-minute garden. I want to see, what do I want here? Kohlrabi, we can do kohlrabi. I've already done spinach. If you look at the earlier videos, you will see spinach. What is this? Cilantro. I want to do that. Georgia collards. Let's try some Georgia collards. How about that? Yeah, let's do that. Georgia collards. Germination rate is 90%. Georgia Southern collards. So, what am I growing? Say it together. I'm growing from seeds. What am I looking for? I'm looking for leafy food. Leafy food. Okay. Why do I want it? Because it can endure the cold weathers going into the winter time. Okay? Torpedo Pot grows your food, but it's very important you understand what you're putting in your mouth. Read and understand what's going on in your environment. I'm taking advantage of my environment to create an area that is unbelievably beautiful. Unbelievably beautiful. And yields so much food that it's ridiculous. Torpedo Pot grows your food. I don't need to say anything more. All of your food needs are here with Torpedo Pot. So I'm going to take these, what is it, Georgia collards, right? I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And I'm going to put them in these pots right here. Okay, I did it. I did it. I've completed that task. Gotta make sure air is out of the bag before I store it away. Okay. Bag of seeds are done. This is done. So all I have to do now is put soil on top of these and they'll be done. Darrell Addison, thank you for taking a look at this video, seeing it all the way through. It's a lot to learn. Torpedo Pot grows your food with no human intervention, and it grows it like you've never seen before. There is no food shortage. There are no food problems. We don't have food problems. We have distribution problems. We have problems with dealing with that supply chain that allows us to create planters so that we can get this type of growth in your house. Darrell Addison, torpedopot.com, where we grow tons of food. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.